Hello everyone! It's time for another episode of Tuesday Live at 5. This is Lena Gersa. I'm an independent demonstrator from Cambridge, Ontario, Canada. Today I am super excited to share with you these adorable, quick and easy Valentines featuring the From My Heart suite by Stampin Up. Now if you were watching my earlier video that actually started at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, you probably were noticing there were some significant technical issues and really blurred images. So I decided to delete that post and I'm doing it over so that you can actually see the projects that I'm working on. So before we get to the projects, I want to show you the products in this awesome suite. I absolutely adore this suite. I love traditional Valentine's images. I love hearts and pink and all of that. And this suite does not disappoint. So this is in the new January to June mini catalog. It's featured on pages 8 and 9. Lots of project samples in the layout in the catalog. And then of course we have the whole suite. Now I'm going to show you all of these products up close and personal, but I do want to point out the entire suite. So if you get everything in the suite, is $119.25 here in Canada, which means you add a bottle of Tombow or a pack of dimensionals and you get 2 free celebration items. Isn't that awesome? Love it. All right, let's get that out of the way. And I'm going to show you the awesome products in this suite. So of course, every suite has sort of its anchor. And in this case, the anchor is the bundle. So this bundle awesome because it is punches. I love punches. I love that it doesn't require a whole lot of extra equipment, and they're really quick and easy to create your die cuts or your punches. So first of all, the stamp set is not just a mushy, kind of stamp set that you would give to a partner or to make cards to give to a partner. It has sentiments that are awesome for giving to friends. Now, I personally like to recognize my friends and co-workers on Valentine's Day. I just think it's fun to make little treats to make everyone's day on Valentine's Day. So this set is great for that. We've got So Lucky to Have a Friend Like You. Being friends is better than eating candy, but let's do that too. From My Heart to Yours. Just really great sentiments that can be used for anyone. So that is the stamp set. And then in the bundle as well, we get 2, not 1, but 2 punches. Now these punches coordinate. These are our extra large punches. We have a plain heart. And then we have the scalloped heart. And these are designed to nest. The plain will nest very nicely onto the scalloped. Okay. Now the other awesome thing about this suite is that the punches coordinate with the designer paper. Now this designer paper is awesome. You may want to put your sunglasses on because it has awesome foil accents. So of the 12 sheets in the pack, 8 of them have foil accents, okay? There are 6 different patterns, and 4 of the 6 patterns have the foil, and you get 2 of each sheet. So this one has Flirty Flamingo foil accents, okay, on one side, and then the other, just a really great, fun pattern, not necessarily for Valentine's Day. This would make a cute baby card even. Okay, so that's pattern 1. This one, oh wow, like foil and shimmer and shine. It's absolutely gorgeous paper. And then on the back we have a collage of hearts. The next 2 are my 2 favorites because they coordinate with the punch pack. So this particular pattern is designed to coordinate with the plain heart. And I'm actually going to use one of these hearts on my project today. And actually, I need my scrap of this because I'm going to punch out the hearts that we need for our project. Now, because I am doing a reboot of this video, I don't have everything pre-prepped, so you're going to get to watch me do some punching. Normally, I would have these all punched out, but that's okay. So I'm just going to quickly show you how this paper coordinates with our punches. So I'm just going to trim off. You can see where I've already punched out here. So if I slide my heart or my paper into the punch, you see how perfectly that is centered there? And then I'm just going to pop that out. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Oh, love it. All right. So that is that pattern. On the back side, we have these fun hearts and arrows. Again, we make really cute baby card. And then we have this awesome pattern, which has, what is it? 2, 4, 5. So 5 times 5, 25 hearts on one sheet that all punch really easily with the scallop punch. So I'm going to show you quickly how I do that. So if I slide this in, you're going to see that that lines up perfectly in the punch. And I get this beautiful scalloped punch. Okay. And then if I flip this around, I can do my pink ones, and I am going to need those. So I'm going to punch those as well. So we'll go 1 And 2, I don't know if you can hear it, our cats upstairs are tearing around like maniacs. I'm not sure what's going on up there. I'm not sure what I'm going to find, whether my house will be still standing when I go up, but there is a bit of a ruckus going on up there right now. Now for one of the projects, I am going to need a plain heart. So I am going to use this one right down here in the corner, and you're going to see that the plain heart coordinates with this paper as well. Do you see how when I center that in there, I get the dots as my border? So I'm going to pop that out as well, because I'm going to need that on one of our projects. All right, so that's the foil accented paper, and then we have 4 sheets in the pack, 2 of each of these patterns that don't have the foil accents, okay? But again, on the back, if you don't use it all up for Valentine's Day, these stripes are good for anything. How fun would this be for candy cane stripes for Christmas, right? Pretty awesome paper. So that is the DSP. Now, of course, we also have some fun embellishments. Let me get those going here. I'm going to set these little punch outs aside because I'm going to need them in a bit. Our embellishments include some beautiful 3/8 inch double stitch satin ribbon. So this has beautiful stitching on both sides. The ribbon is quite substantial. It's nice and stiff. It's got some weight to it, which makes it easy to tie and helps your bows keep their shape. So if you pull that and create your bow that way, you're going to get a really nice bow that holds its shape. Now, since I've already tied that, I'm going to go ahead and trim that because we're going to use it on one of our projects. So I'll just trim my ends here and set that aside. We're going to use that on one of our cards. Isn't that a pretty bow? All right, so that's the ribbon. And then we have these fun faceted gems. So they come in 3 colors. I'll just use my take your pick here to kind of show them to you. We have 3 different sizes. We have the large, the medium, and the small, and they come in the real red, the Flirty Flamingo, and the white. And all of them have this sort of iridescent side on them that just shimmers and shines. It's really, really pretty. Okay, we're going to use those on a project today as well. And then we have these awesome, utterly cute heart tins. Now, these things are, well, first of all, quick and easy Valentines, like fill them up with candy and you're done. However, they do hold a lot of candy, so just be warned, okay? If you're going to use these, you're going to have to buy a lot of candy, or buy big ones, like buy, and then you won't have to use as many. Or better yet, bake cupcakes in them. So you can totally use these little tins. You would fill them up with your batter, put them on a cookie sheet and bake them, and then decorate your cupcake right in the tin. The lids have about 3/4 of an inch clearance, so your icing isn't going to get smushed. And afterwards, after they eat the cupcake, wash out the tin and it can be reused. Okay, really, really cute. So we're going to use those today for our treat holder. And then the last part of the suite are these adorable Heart Doilies. Now these come in 2 colors. You get both the pink, or the Flirty Flamingo, and the real red in the pack. And the back side of them are all white. So you can color these to any color you like, really, right? And I love that Stampin' Up! Gives us that option, because not all of us want pink and red Valentines, right? All right, so we are going to get busy and make some cards. We're going to start with this one. So this, again, I designed fully intending to give it to a friend, not necessarily to my husband or my son, but to probably a friend or a colleague at work. And I'm going to show you quickly how to put this together. So let's dump out our little bits. We have a bazillion little hearts here. I don't really need all of them, so I won't dump them all out right just now. And I need my ones that I punched from my DSP. All right, so to start, I have a piece of Whisper white cardstock. It is cut to 4 by 5 1/4 inches, and it is embossed using the eyelet lace embossing folder. Okay, I think it works really, really well with the doilies. So I'm going to take and glue my Heart Doily down. I'm just going to add a little bit of fast fuse to the back of this guy and pop it on, right about there. Looks good. Okay. Then I'm going to go ahead and layer these 2. So these are 2 that I punched from the DSP, and you're going to see when I layer those, they layer just beautifully. Okay, so I'm going to use a little bit of Tombow to do that, and that's just so that I have some wiggle time to make sure they get layered just the way I want them. So we'll just pop that on there like that. Come on, there we go. And just give that a minute to set up. And we're going to do a little bit of stamping. The only stamping on this card is our sentiment. I just realized I didn't mount my stamps because I was in such a rush to get this video re-recorded. So we're going to do that right now. So I'm going to use the So Happy to Have a Friend Like You stamp. And I'm going to grab my basic gray ink. And I'm going to go ahead and mount my stamp and go ahead and ink that up. So I'm going to ink up in basic gray. I like to use basic gray on Valentine's cards. It's a little less stark than basic black, but it gives you a nice solid neutral against all the pink and red. So there is my sentiment. We'll just set that aside because we're going to need it in a minute. And now we are ready to build the rest of our card. So before I add any more elements to the front of my card, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of ribbon. So we're going to press one end of the ribbon into a glue dot and adhere that to the back of our card. And then I'm going to trim it off again and add another glue dot and adhere that. Okay, now I have a piece of real red cardstock. This is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 inches. And I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of adhesive to the back of my white panel. I'm rushing and my fast fuse is pulling up my embossed panel. Sometimes happens if you get a little too over eager with your fast fuse. So I'm just going to pop that right onto the front of my panel. Okay, and then I'm ready to go ahead and glue this onto my card base is cut to 4 1/4 by 11 inches. It's scored in the middle at 5 1/2. I'm going to fold it in half along my score line. And then add a bit of adhesive. Now, a few people have asked me why I do not use snail in my videos. Snail is the tape runner that is available in the Stampin' Up! Catalog currently. Fast Fuse, the one that I'm using, is no longer available. Now, I'm going to tell you a snail story, okay? And this will explain why I don't use snail on my projects. Years ago, when I was a fairly young new stamper, I had my studio in my basement, and it was summertime here in Southern Ontario, and it gets quite humid and damp in our basements. And I came down to my studio one day, and all of my beautiful projects that I had on display had fallen apart. There were bits and pieces of them all over the floor. And I was heartbroken because I was a pretty new stamper, so I was really proud of my projects. And to see them all in pieces on the floor just made me cry. And I realized that snail is not a permanent adhesive here in Southern Ontario. So that is why I prefer Fast Fuse. And if Fast Fuse is no longer available, I will use Tombow exclusively, the liquid glue. This stuff is strong. You do not need a lot of it, and it is permanent. It does not come apart. Okay. All right. So while I was talking there, I just took and added some dimensionals to my layered hearts and popped them onto the front of my card. Now I'm going to take my one with the sentiment and I'm going to layer that. Now I want to make sure I don't put a dimensional behind this side because I don't want it to be double popped here, right? So I'm going to put a couple dimensionals on this side, here and here. And then on this part, I'm just going to add a little bit of Fast Fuse where it's going to overlap. So we'll get rid of our backings here. And I'm going to pop this on right about there. Okay, just like that. All right, now I have all sorts of little teeny tiny hearts. You can probably see them here. These were die cut using a set of dies that were in last year's mini catalog called the Be Mine Stitched dies, and these are still available in the annual catalog. Part of that set of dies is this cute little sort of heart border. Now we have a large background die that is actually available in this catalog that is similar but much larger. I don't have that die, but I really like the look of it, so I wanted to use this on my little treat holder here. And once I cut it out, I was like, oh, I have all of these little bits, these little hearts, so let's make a card and use them. So that's what I did. So the best way to deal with these little teeny tiny things is to use your take your pick. You can just pick up your little hearts and plunk them wherever you want them. And it's kind of a no muss, no fuss kind of deal. All right. It's much easier than trying to pick up these little teeny bits of paper, especially if you are someone who doesn't have nails. They can be very tricky to pick up. Let's put this guy down here. I don't like that there. We're just not going to use him at all. it's easier to pick up with the little blue goo end. Okay, now to glue these on, I'm going to use just a little bit of Tombow. So the best way I find to do that is to just pick up my heart, take a bit of Tombow, put a little dab, and then plunk my heart back down. Super easy and not messy and not frustrating as you're trying to pick up these little teeny tiny bits. Okay, and again, you just need a little dot of glue to hold these on. Okay, so those are the little hearts, and then we are going to add, you can probably see on here, some of our faceted gems to add some sparkle, because if I'm giving this to a girlfriend, of course she wants some bling, right? What girl doesn't like bling, really? Okay, so best way to glue these on is our Shimmery Crystal Effects. It's in the holiday catalog, but it has carried over and is still orderable. Okay, it's not in any catalog, but if it's something that you would like and you are in my online store, you can add it to your cart, or if you would like to email me with your order, I can put it through for you. Okay, but this is awesome stuff. I like to use this to attach embellishments because it's shimmery. So if it oozes a little bit and I kind of get some where I don't want it, doesn't matter because it's sparkly and shimmery and it looks like it's just added to the sparkle of my project. So I'm going to add a couple of these faceted gems. I'm just going to place them kind of where I want them first. They come in 3 sizes. We have large, medium, and little itty bitty teeny tiny. These little guys here. Again, as I said earlier, we have Real Red, Flirty Flamingo, and Whisper White ones. So let's grab another Flirty Flamingo, and let's see if we can get a teeny one. Let's add this guy up here. Oh, turn him over. Come here, you. There we go. And we're going to do a couple more. We'll do a little pink guy here. And we'll do a little red one up here. Okay, so now that I have them all placed, again, I'm going to use my take your pick. I'm going to pick up one of them. I'm going to add a little bit of Crystal Effects. And then I'm going to plop it back down. So easy. The take your pick is, well, it lives on my desk. It doesn't actually have a storage spot in my studio because it is always out. It's one of those things that I'm always using. I don't know how I lived without it before it came out. It is really an awesome tool. And if you don't have it, you need one. I'm just going to put it out there. You got to order one. Almost done here. I'm just a couple more. And honestly, it's like $15 or something in our catalog. It is not expensive, but it is a tool that is worth more than its weight in gold. It's just an awesome tool. All right, so there are my little gems, and that is my card. It's done. The only thing I need to add is our bow, and we tied that earlier, so let me find that bow. I might actually make my loops a teensy bit smaller because I don't want to cover up my sentiment, and trim my ends here just a little bit shorter. And then it'll fit a little bit better on the front of my card. So to adhere this, I'm just going to go ahead and press the knot of my bow into a glue dot and then pop that onto the front of my card like that. How cute is that? Isn't it fun? Now on the inside of this one, I added that fun sentiment that says eating friends is better than eating candy, but let's do that too. And added some more of those little hearts. Okay, I'm not going to take the time to do that on this one, but thanks, Jen. Glad you like that. Thanks for joining me. I am on, well, I was on earlier, but I am redoing. This is my take 2 because my first video had significant technical issues. It was extremely blurry. So I am redoing. Nothing like doing things twice. All right, so that is project number 1. And then we're going to make our cute, quick and easy treat holder to coordinate with it. Now, I actually made the treat holder first. And as I said, I cut out this piece and then I had all those little bitty hearts. And I thought, well, I got to make a card to go with it. So to do this, you need to have our heart tins, okay? These are in the part of the suite. They are, what are they? They're about $1 each is about the price, maybe $1.25. But honestly, they're so cute and they are reusable because this is really quite sturdy. Okay. All right. So I'm going to just take the lid because that's all we need right now. I'm going to use one of our Heart Doilies, and remember how I said that they are reversible, so it's red on one side, but I'm actually going to flip it over and use the white side. And the cool thing, before I glue this down, Stampin' Up, again, they think of everything. This nests perfectly inside this lid. The lid has a little bit of a lip around the edge, a little bit of a divot here, maybe about 1/8 of an inch, and the Heart Doily just fits in there perfectly. So I'm just going to add a teensy bit of fast fuse there. And a cat hair is on my lid. Surprise, surprise, living in my house. And we're just going to pop that right down in the center there. Okay. All right. So here I have another one of those hearts that I punched from the DSP. And I'm going to go ahead again in basic gray. And the sentiment fits perfectly inside that heart. And I should mention that the center of these hearts is not foil, it's actually matte, so you don't need to use any special ink. It'll just work with our classic ink and it won't smudge. Okay, all right, so that is my heart. Now this I found was a little bit long to go across the lid, so I actually trimmed this down. So I just kind of cut it in half and added some fast fuse on the back. And then I kind of just overlapped it a little bit on the back of the heart to make it just a little bit smaller so it wasn't extending too far off the sides. So I kind of did that. Okay, then we're going to go ahead and add a little bit of ribbon. So I didn't want to add a bow on this one, so I just trimmed about 5 inches of so of ribbon. I'm going to take a glue dot and put it in the middle of that piece. Whoops. In the middle, not at the edge. And then I'm going to fold it in half and create a V, just like that. Okay. Now before I glue this on, I'm going to notch my ends. So to notch my ends, I like to just fold my ribbon in half and cut on an angle, and then I get nice even notches. Quick and easy way to do that. And I'm going to add a little bit more fast fuse on the back of my heart. I'm just going to pop right on there like that, so that I kind of have a little, almost looks like a little badge or something. Okay, now this is going to go on with some dimensionals, which are over here buried under various other tools. So we'll get our backings off of here. Come on, don't fail me now, nails. There we go. And we're going to pop that right onto the front of our lid there. Okay, now the last little touch is to add one of these adorable little mini library clips. These are in the annual catalog. And I just think they're a fun little touch to add, just add a little something, cute little embellishment. So we're going to do this sort of little trick with these. I'm going to take a glue dot and I'm going to roll it into just a little tube here with my thumbnail. And I'm just going to adhere it to the clip right at the base of the handle of the clip. So kind of right there. I'm not sure how well you can see that. It's right there. Okay. Then I'm going to take my white baker's twine, fold a length of it in half, and I'm going to create a double bow. So I'm just going to quickly do this. Normally I would take the time to show you how to do these double bows, but today has not gone quite as planned. I'm supposed to be eating dinner with my family right now. They're upstairs eating dinner without me because I have to redo this video. But you know, technology is what it is, and sometimes it doesn't work the way you want it to. But these projects were just too cute, so I had to redo the video because I didn't want you to miss out on them. All right, so there is my little bow. And then I'm just going to take and press that, the knot of it, into that little glue booger, as we fondly call it, right on the clip. And then this is going to get clipped just on that top part of my heart there. And I get this cute little embellishment. Isn't that fun? Now, these are, as I mentioned, quite large. My sample here has 4 Lindor chocolate truffles in it. Okay, so it'll hold 4 of them quite comfortably. You probably could get 5 in if you really squeezed them. But again, I totally want to make cupcakes in these. I think they're just too fun and too cute. Okay, so that is our little treat holder and coordinating card, little gift set. Okay, all right, I got one more project to show you. And that is this one. This could totally be for anybody, okay? It is not a, you know, mushy Valentine's card. I would absolutely be comfortable giving this to a friend. I might give it to my son. Probably won't give it to my spouse because I have another one planned for him. But really, really generic for anybody kind of Valentine. So for this, I'm going to use the solid heart image. So it's this one from the Heartfelt set. Hey Debbie, how are ya? I'm on late today because I was on earlier and had technical difficulties, in case you're wondering why I'm so late. So this is a negative image stamp. So that means we are going to stamp on Whisper White cardstock, okay, with Flirty Flamingo ink, and the result is going to be white writing with the pink heart, okay? Now, the challenge with these stamps is, because they're photopolymer and they're really solid, there's a lot of real estate, you want to make sure you are using your Stampin' Pierce mat, okay? That's to ensure that you get a nice, clean, crisp image. People that struggle with the photopolymer stamps, often the reason that they're having trouble is because they're not using a soft stamping surface, okay? These stamps don't have any give, and if your stamping surface is not perfectly flat, you will not get a great image. So this one, when I have the Stampin' Pierce mat, I just got a beautiful, crisp image there. Hi Giselle, how are you? Haven't seen you in a little while. Thanks for stopping by. I'm on a little late today for those who are just joining. I was on earlier, did the entire video, showed all my projects, and then went to watch it back and realized that everything was very blurry and pixelated, so I had to redo it. So I am on again. Here I am, hopefully with better results. All right, so this stamp coordinates perfectly with the plain heart. So I'm just going to go ahead and center that in the punch and pop it out. And then we are going to layer that on this pink scalloped heart that we punched from the DSP. And you're going to see, again, when I layer that, it's going to layer perfectly. And I have a white border, which makes it look like there's actually 3 layers under there instead of just 2. So I'm going to use a little bit of Tombow to adhere that. Again, because it gives me that wiggle time to get it exactly where I want it. Aw, thanks, Giselle. That's very sweet. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how I did my background. So I'm going to dump out all my goodies here. And I have here 2 of the red Heart Doilies. Again, you get both the red and the pink in the pack. And I have a piece of the designer paper. This is the candy cane stripe, okay, that has hearts on the other side, and it's cut to 5 1/4 by 4 inches, okay? So I am going to start by cutting one of these doilies in half. Now, I'm not going to try to measure or worry about getting it perfectly straight because it's not going to matter, because I'm going to trim part of it off. So I'm going to go ahead and line these up. Now, I find by putting the 2 halves on the end, it helps me kind of get the whole one in the middle centered a little bit better. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and glue these on. I'm going to use a little bit of liquid glue again because it gives me a little bit of that wiggle time to get it exactly where I want it. And I chose this designer paper because of the fact that it has rows of hearts. I can use those rows to get them lined up so my hearts are straight. Okay, so I've got that one on. I'm going to go ahead and glue on my halves now. So we'll put one on this side, and again, I'm using those hearts. I want to make sure that the top of the sort of the bump on the heart is even with the center one. And again, a little bit of glue on here, and same thing on this side. So I really want to make sure that my hearts are kind of going straight across. All right, now you're going to see that my little doilies on either side extend past the edge. So there are 2 ways to do that. One is to take your scissors and trim it, but this gives me the perfect opportunity to show off my mini trimmer. The mini trimmer is part of our new demonstrator starter kit offering during Celebration. During Celebration, if you join my Stamping Symphony team, as part of your starter kit, you already get $165 worth of product for just $135, but during Celebration, you're also going to get this awesome mini trimmer for free. You're going to get a full pack of 48 6x6 sheets of DSP, which is a sampler of DSPs from the mini and from Celebration, as well as a free stamp set of your choice. So it is an awesome deal, and this mini is the bomb, okay? I have only had mine for a couple of weeks, and it has already found a permanent home on my desk. It never gets put away because I use it for all sorts of things, like this. Doing these really quick and easy little trims. So you know when things don't quite get measured exactly right and you need to trim off just a little smidge? This thing does it clean and perfectly every single time. It is awesome. Okay, so that is my background. I'm going to go ahead and glue that onto a Flirty Flamingo panel. This is cut to 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. Okay, and it's going to give me a 1/16 of an inch border all the way around. Going to add a little bit of Tombow on here. Again, because I have a narrow border and I want to just make sure I get that centered just right. All right, just like that. Okay, now I'm ready to go ahead and glue it onto my card base. This is real red cardstock. It's cut to 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, scored in the middle at 4 1/4. We're going to fold it in half along our score line and crisp it up with our bone folder. There goes my, I just dropped my baker's twine. Oops, baker's twine everywhere. And add a little bit of fast fuse to the back of this guy. And we're going to adhere our panel onto the front of our card. Whoopsie. Let's do that way. Get it straight. There we are. Okay. Now, before I adhere this, I need to stamp and do a little bit of fussy cutting for my arrow. Where did I put my piece of scrap white cardstock? Oh, there it is. Okay, so my arrow, again, part of the Heartfelt set, and I'm going to stamp it in basic gray, and we're going to do a little bit of fussy cutting, but it's not really as fussy as you might think. I'll show you a little secret. So when I stamp this, first of all, to make sure my arrow is straight, I'm just going to lay that down there and get that on there. I don't need to worry about fussy cutting most of the shaft of the arrow, right? Because we're not going to see it. It's going to be hiding back here. So I'm just going to cut really around the point and the end of the arrow. So we're going to stamp it, as I said, in basic gray. We'll ink this guy up and stamp. And then we're going to take our snips and do just a little bit of cutting. So the nice thing about this is most of your cuts are straight, okay? Straight cuts are pretty easy when you're fussy cutting. Certainly easier, whoop, that one's not very straight. As I said, straight cuts are easy. There's the irony. Not nearly as difficult as cutting circles or curves, okay? So that's about as far down the shaft as I need to go. I'm just gonna trim a little bit of this out so I can get at it a little easier. And we're going to come back in this way and trim that, and then cut down on the other side to about there. Okay, we don't have to cut very far down at all. All right, so then on the other end, let's get rid of this big piece of cardstock. It's so much easier to cut on a small piece. There we go. Let's get that out of there. Okay, so now we're going to cut same thing, do the same thing on this end. Okay, we're just going to cut around the bottom of the arrow, and that's about as far as we need to go. Okay, and then same thing here and there. I'm rushing. I'm hungry. My tummy's growling. I don't know if you can hear that, but I'm missing my dinner. All right, there we go. So now, all I'm going to do is adhere this to the back of my heart. And lo and behold, all you see is the part that I actually cut. Okay? So don't be afraid to use this heart and to fussy cut. It's not, or sorry, use this arrow rather, not the heart. And to fussy cut, it is not a big deal. Okay? So we're going to add a little bit of fast fuse on the back here. And then we'll add our arrow to the back of our heart, just like that. And then we're going to add some dimensionals to the back and pop it up on the front of our card. So we'll bring the card in and just center that on that center doily, just like that. Okay. All right. Now we're going to do our little trick with our clip again, if I can rescue my twine from the floor. Oh, there we go. And so we're going to do the same thing, except this time we're just going to do a single bow. Thanks, Anne. I'm glad you liked that little trick. Thanks for joining me tonight. I'm on late. I actually was on earlier, did the entire video, and discovered when I went to upload it that everything was blurry and pixelated. You couldn't really see my projects. So I am redoing it in the hopes that it is much clearer. I hope all of you are able to see it. If you're not, most of you are commenting on things that I'm doing, so I'm trusting that you can see what I'm doing. Far better than you could have if I had left the previous video up. It was not good. All right, so I've added just my little bit of glue there to the base of my clip, and then I'm gonna add my little bow in there, and it looks like I've tied it around. And then that is just gonna get added again to the top part of the heart there. Cute little embellishment. All right, now to add just a little bit of shimmer, we're gonna add some of these frosted epoxy dots shapes. I can't remember what they're called. Frosted epoxy something. And we're gonna go ahead and add just a couple of these to add a little bit of shimmer to our card. And then, because I'm me and I love me some Wink of Stella, we're gonna do our flicky Wink of Stella trick. So I'm just gonna take and add some shimmer and sparkle to the front of my card. And again, this probably doesn't show up in the video, but it's got some nice little speckly sparkles. Hey Heather, thanks for joining me. Sorry if you were having trouble trying to watch me earlier. It was not a good technology day for me. I'm glad it is better now that you guys can actually see me. Now I'll just quickly show you on the inside. I used another sentiment from the Heartfelt set and another heart image just to add a little something. Okay, so those are my projects. Let me just bring in the other two. So we've got quick and easy. These things, you could mass produce a dozen of these in a hurry, right? If you need to do Valentines for your child's class or for colleagues, these, you could totally whip these up in a real hurry. Okay? All right, everybody. That is it for me again for Tuesday Live at 5 this week. And I'm going to sign off, and I will see you again next week for another episode. Bye for now.